It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
Credit cards.
So this one, what is it, Brian?
It's a ripoff. Could be a ripoff.
It could be, because we've done, and we've done a lot of shows recently on debt talking about, we have let you guys know what we think about credit cards. We've told you that they may not be the most advantageous thing if you don't use them correctly.
Remember, we've said this, it's almost like it's a broken record in the fact that there is no such thing as credit card debt. Mm-hmm. You can have credit card use, but no credit card debt.
That's
because
right.
Credit card debt, rip off.
That's exactly right.
Rip off. Just know it. That's what it's going to do for you. But here's why I do want, because a lot of people, let me refresh your memory on why it's a rip off. Average interest rate right now, 17.76%.
Right.
For people who actually carry a credit card balance, the average is around $16,883. So it's right there, right under $17,000. I know the national average is much lower, but there's a lot of people that aren't paying credit card interest.
That's right.
So you need to be in that category so you're not one of these people that has $17,000 worth of credit card debt. And they're a ripoff because the interest is just not worth what you're getting. 17.76%. You're not going to make that on your investments.
Nope.
So if you're not going to make that on your investments, you don't need to be paying somebody.
It's not deductible, so you can't even say, oh, there's some tax benefit to it.
You've turned compounding interest on its ear. It's actually
Exactly
working against you instead of working for you. So it's just not making sense. Now, credit card use, I will tell you, I think that credit card use has a lot of conveniences. Think about it. They have cash back, have some type of rewards, extended warranties.
Huge.
I went, as I told you guys, I went to Dollywood just this past weekend. I know Mickey Mouse probably thinks I'm cheating on him a little bit, but I do love me some Dolly Parton too. We went to the water park, and even though I had a locker for the majority of our possessions and belongings and things and towels and so forth, there were a few things that we just left in the chair. Guess what one of them was while I went in the water? Credit cards. You know why? Didn't care. You steal my credit cards? I'm not going to be paying the bill on it. Somebody else. I mean, it's one of those things. You're going to be protected. So I didn't care if somebody stole my credit card. It was okay. Nobody did, by the way. Great group of people at Dollywood. But it was one of those things I just wasn't worried. But sometimes you do go on shady websites, like a good deal. If you go do a price grabber and you're trying to find the best price, or even Frugal or Google, their shopping portals, you sometimes you'll be like, should I buy from this website? And you don't want to use your ATM card.
Yeah.
So it's better to use a credit card.
But now let's give a nod, right? So we said that, so credit card debt is the ripoff, right? That's the real ripoff. And we just gave a bunch of positive uses for credit cards. However.
You're going to throw the cold water on credit cards, aren't you?
I'm just going to say there is some anecdotal evidence out there that would suggest for certain folks, they might tend to spend more if they are spending with a credit card than if they're spending with cash. Tactily, every time you swipe it, it doesn't disintegrate. With cash, you actually feel it leaving your hands. So yes, a credit card could be a ripoff for you if it entices you to spend more than you might otherwise.
Intern Dan went and pulled 2 data points. It's a mixed bag in my book, but I'm going to give them to you because I want you guys to know we don't just hide stuff from you. We'll be transparent. He found a stat that in 2018, there was a research study that people were willing to spend 83% more on sporting tickets when they paid with a credit card.
So, we're right here in the home of the Nashville Predators. Go Preds. If we wanted to go to a Predators game, we would spend more on those tickets if we were going to swipe than if we were going to pay cash.
But can I be honest? That data point seems a little sketchy for me because the only other way you can buy in cash is to approach the guy who's walking around, some shady guy on a corner that you're approaching. So darn right, probably everybody who's worried about their safety is going to pay with a credit card. But if you're not worried about your safety and going to the shady guy on the corner, by all means, you're probably getting a better deal. So we'll just say 83% more. Good point, Intern Dan. But and here's another one. This one was another like half-washed data point that I was just like, good point, but I think it means that this is not a good for cash because they found out that tips, if you're paying with a credit card, you likely tip around 17%.
Okay.
Cash tippers only tip around 15%. So once again, it's a savings, but Bo, you come from a server's background.
Yeah, this one I thought. So what I thought was so funny is Daniel started saying, yeah, look, man, the folks who pay with credit cards, they spend more money. They just spend more on the tip. And I was reading that like, man, are credit card users just more generous? Because look, I worked in the service industry all through college. So I understand the grind of what it is to wait on tables. Here's the deal. If somebody's bringing your food and they're taking care of it, in my opinion, my humble opinion, this is not prescriptive, this is not going to show up in an order of operations, but when you go out to eat, you should tip 20%. Now, if it's bad service, okay, tip 18. But I'm just saying, that's you know what I mean? That's sort of my take on it. If someone delivers exceptional service, whether you're paying cash or credit card, you should tip them well. Because, I used to live in that. It used to be not how I fed my kids. I didn't have any kids back then. But it used to be how I fed myself. That's how I paid for Taco Bell back then.
So 15%. If somebody tipped you 15%, was that a good tip?
Well, now here's the truth of the matter. 15% you're probably still happy with. You're always hoping for 20%.
So you're saying the majority of people, when you were a server at a national retail, it was a chain where I've eaten at this. This was my date night location in college. I know where they have some baby back. Is that okay?
Nailed it. No, you did awesome.
So anyway, but if you think about this chain that Bo used to be a server at, what was the average tip?
I think it probably was somewhere between 10 to 15%.
Okay.
Which I think is wild because probably 10 to 15%. Look, tip 20%. That's my thing.
So let's talk about the Money Guy way. You know where we fall on this. I've said it before. We didn't pull up the goofy slide again.
Although one of us did lobby for that slide.
Credit card debt is supposed to be like unicorns and dragons. It's something you read about, hear about, but it's not something you experience for yourself. Right. Remember that. It is great if you want to set up Money Guy way is if there's things that you're going to pay naturally. Think about your utility bills. Think about insurance premiums. Things that there's no play on behavior of it's changing the price. Go get the rewards on this stuff. Just make sure you're paying it off every month. I think it's perfectly fine to set up automatic payments on things like that. It is a dangerous tool if you treat it like that. Treat it like a knife, a chainsaw. I've used so many different analogies. Just know that this is a tool that if you're not respecting it, you're probably not using it appropriately. And then, Bo, you put this last one on there.
Yeah, here's the thing. I feel like I have to do this new disclaimer. I'm giving myself an asterisk every time we talk about credit card use, credit cards, whatever. Yes, personal finance is 80% behavioral. So if you're someone who can't use it well, can't use it responsibly, don't use it at all. But 20% of personal finance is mathematics. And if you are behaviorally sound and you care about the mathematics, credit cards, when used correctly, can be an asset to your financial circumstance.
Yeah, and I think the audience of the Money Guy show, we know that we are dealing with that 20% that aren't blowing it up. Mm-hmm. Millionaires don't struggle with credit card debt. If you're struggling with credit card debt, you probably need to go work on some basics. It is. It just is what it is. But if you know that you can handle the discipline, you're paying yourself first. You're our type of folks.
I don't mean to go on a sidebar, but this
wrote a comment
just came in. This is from D Vortex. Said, how on earth were you budgeting $50 takeout when you first wed when you tipped 20%? We did the show when I first got married, and my eating out budget for me and my wife was $50. I just got called out hardcore right there.
That's an old school call out.
I didn't take her to really nice places. That was kind of my answer to that.
That's actually true.